I'm going to review of Ex Machina, directed by Alex Garland, a sci-fi drama that centers on a lucky programmer who wins the chance of a lifetime by getting flown out to his CEO's extravagant, secluded estate, where he takes part in a series of interactive sessions with the world's most advanced artificial intelligence, which just so happens to embody a female humanoid named Ava. Ex Machina is a film that I first heard about a couple of months ago, back when there's this whole story about all these guys getting catfished on the app Tinder. This all took place during South by Southwest, and these guys were getting all these messages that contained all these questions by this girl, asking some kind of arbitrary stuff, and at the end she would ask, "Do you want to meet me?" And the guys would say, "Yeah, of course I want to meet you. You know, you're hot. You seem interested in me, so let's meet up." And so she would reply with a link to her Instagram page, and then that would lead to some promotional material for the film. So yes, this girl was none other than Ava, the fictional android from Ex Machina. And yes, it is some fucked up marketing, but if you're dumb enough to sit there and read those questions and read those responses and still think that you're actually talking to a real person, then well, there's probably not much help for you, because they just look so incredibly staged. But needless to say, with the help of this movie, a lot of broken hearts were made. As for Ex Machina, this is a directorial debut by Alex Garland, who has worked on other films, screenplay-wise, with films such as 28 Days Later and Sunshine, both Danny Boyle projects. A lot of critics as well as audiences have been coming at this film saying that this is among the best films of 2015, which I could definitely see why. However, I do have some problems with this film that kind of keep me from giving it perhaps a better rating or perhaps a better review. However, this is a really good film, and I think it's a great alternative for those who want to see something that might not be the Avengers, something that's not a blockbuster, something that is on the more artistic side. First of all, Ex Machina is a film that has and will definitely have people debating on how one perceives the film's message. Kind of like Spike Jonze's Her, this is a film that has more to do with questioning and observations versus really having a direct commentary on the subject of artificial intelligence. Coming out of the film, I perceive artificial intelligence as something that is undoubtedly extraordinary, but at the same time, when dealing with something that is so intellectually advanced, it really does merit a lot of caution and a lot of care. Something as advanced as Ava doesn't perceive itself as being a piece of machinery, but perceives itself as being a sentient being, something that has emotions, something that has the ability to think in a way that humans think. I think one of the questions that this film asks is there a line, and if so, where do we draw it? Now, one thing that I want to discuss, because I've heard a lot of people criticize him, and that is the performance by Domhnall Gleeson, saying that his performance was underwhelming and so forth, but I think his performance is good considering that he's playing his character in the way that his character, well, should be played. He's playing a character who is awkward, he's a little bit of an introvert, so it only makes sense for him to play this character in a way that sort of caters to that image. So if you're gonna blame anything, perhaps blame the writing, and I would actually agree with anybody who says that they would like to have seen a little bit more depth with his character, because I think the relationship between Ava and Caleb, Domhnall Gleeson, probably could have been a little bit more fleshed out. And speaking of Ava, she is played by Alicia Vikander, who I think does a great job at playing a robot, yet not playing it in a way that is robotic, but playing it in a way that is sort of human, but not. It's one of those performances where she performs with her eyes and just little subtle movements and that kind of stuff. And I really do. I thought it was a great performance. And even though I do believe their relationship could have been better fleshed out, I did enjoy the interactions between Domhnall Gleeson and Alicia Vikander. And continuing on with the subject of great performances, we also have Oscar Isaac, who plays the CEO of the company that Domhnall Gleeson works for. He is the creator of Ava, and he's portrayed as being pretty much the smartest man on planet Earth, and I did buy that. However, what's funny about his character is that he's a complete bro, and that's something that you don't typically see when a movie is portraying pretty much a scientist or a nerd or an inventor. So I really did welcome that approach to such a character. And there is one scene with Oscar Isaac that I will not spoil because it's just such a WTF moment, because it's just so different in comparison to the overall tone of the film. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. As far as the problems that I have with this film does a really great job at setting up suspense, really keeping me on the edge. However, I was kind of disappointed to see where this film ended up at, because it ends in a way that's kind of predictable. And although I'm not entirely sure, I think there might be some holes in the storytelling, and I'm not one of these people who yells out plot holes because I don't understand something, but I do think there might be some minor ones there. But I'm going to go back and rewatch the film to confirm that. As far as anything else I want to say about this film before I wrap this review up, I really love the production design. The cinematography is definitely not bad. I like how it just kind of just sits, it observes. It's not overly crazy. You know, it really kind of lets you sort of breathe in the atmosphere, which I really liked. And speaking of which, the atmosphere is very claustrophobic. Oscar Isaac's beard is absolutely epic, that is if it's not fake. And last but not least, there are aspects to this film that kind of reminded me a little bit of Stanley Kubrick, and that's not a bad thing to say at all. I've really been debating on what rating I should give Ex Machina, but I think I'm going to stick with my guns and I'm going to go with a very incredibly strong 3.5 out of 5. And that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you're somebody who has seen this film, then by all means, tell me what you think of it. And as always, I'm Colin Kirkland, and thank you so much for watching.